That last week, I had a chance to talk with one of the elderly women, and in a short time, we have some conversation that we had a very valuable and also really good. And since she shared about a little bit about life wisdom to younger people like me, and then this kind of wisdom we couldn't get it naturally unless we live out our lives that old, right? That's why I love to talk to the grandmas and the grandparents generation, because not because I'm an old man, okay, but because I can get a life wisdom from them, and since there is very useful and there is really valuable and important in our lives. Then people ask this question: Hey guys, how do you know this kind of wisdom? How to get the wisdom without living that long time? Even we didn't live our entire life 70, 80 years old. There is one way we can get the wisdom of the life. That is we are reading right now. That's the Bible. We specifically read Proverbs chapter 30, verse 1 through 9. As we read this Proverbs, it comes from the Agul, sons of the Jacob. And through specific proverbs of the jargon, we just want to look at the fundamental wisdom of the life in these three aspects and perspective. Number one is who we are. We just want to figure it out. And the number two, second aspect is who God is. We are going to find out this perspective too. And the last one is, this is kind of an application part, what we need to do after figuring out who we are and who God is. So we are going to deal with these three aspects and deal with, find out the, answer to these questions, who we are, who God is, and what we need to do. So let's first read verse 1. All people just open your Bible. In Proverbs 30, verse 1, it says, the words of the Agul, son of the Jacob, the oracle. Let me give you guys this kind of a, specific, a really simple analogy and also exposition of this word. The word of the Agul, son of the Jacob, the oracle. The Agul, in the Hebrew words, it is a brave in a pursuit of the wisdom. We don't know about, is it real person or is it the, kind of a nickname? But, his name meaning is a brave man in a pursuit of the wisdom. And the second part of he is a son of the Jacob. He is the, free from the sin. Jacob means free from the sin. And then we have to notice that a third terminology that we can grab it, that is the oracle. What does that oracle means? The revelation of God. Unlike other Proverbs is pretty much, that's not a commitment. Usually in a Proverbs, people just saying hey, this is the encouragement, this is the, principle, this is the wisdom that I have, so would you please live out this kind of a life? But actually, Proverbs 30 is a little bit different because it is a receiving, it isn't revelation of God. So even though the author Agul, he's just saying about you got to do this and as the commitment, there is no problem. This is not the wisdom from the human being, but this is the from God's the direct given wisdom right here. And then let's read next 3 verses right here. The man declares, I'm weary, O God, I'm weary, O God, and I'm worn out. Verse 2, surely I'm too stupid to be a man. I have not the understanding of the man. I have learned wisdom, nor have I knowledge of the Holy One. When I read this part, I feel like, all the human beings, especially if I'm just wearing on the same position of this author, I just feel like I'm a worthless and a stupid, right? The point the author wants to say about, say through this part reveals who we are before God. We are just nothing. We are just no one. Through this part, the other author frankly indicates that we are what status, what kind of a person, what kind of identity we are having before the God. We are worthless, unvaluable, no important, and nothing. He wants to emphasize that this kind of parts and this kind of a true status of our identity, who we are. On the other side, the author also shows who God is. So let's read verse 4 through 6. Okay? Let's read verses 4 through 6. Habin, can you just help me out to read 4 to 6, please? Especially verse 4 through 6, so we can have a grab the some of the portion of the question mark here, rhetorical question over here. So who has ascended to this heaven and come down? Who has gathered the winds in his fist? Who has wrapped up the waters in a garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? We can have the author's rhetorical question is, he just wants to show that who God is, because God can do it. God has able to do those kind of things, right? But then let me ask you guys something like human beings can do it. Ascending and they come down from the heaven into the heaven. Can you guys gather all the winds? Even though you can grab it, you can feel it, but you can grab it in your fist. Can you just wrap up any waters in a garment? It goes away. And then how can you guys establish all the end of the earth? That means, what is his name? What is his son's name? He just pointing out who God is right here. He is a God. He is the perfect. There's no question, but we all know that's the God. And then I'll go request the two things to God right here. Verses 7 through 9. I'm just going to read for you guys. Two things that I ask of you. Deny them not to me before I die. Remove far from me falsehood and a lie, and give me either property nor riches to feed me with the food that is needful for me, lest I be full and deny you and say, who is the Lord? And lest I be poor and steal and profane the name of my God. The first question, the request of the Agul right here, do not deny or reject me. Some of the time that we may ask about this question is because when we just pray about God, sometimes we just figure out who we are. Now we are worthless and we're just nothing and we are nobody. And some of the question, if you compare to God, who God is, and it just feel like we're just no value at all. Then other question that we can have is what? God may abandon me. God may just throw me out of as like a trash like this. Because God is a perfect, God is a God, He can do whatever He is able, He wants to do. Then question is, our goal just wants to just keep myself before and with God all the time. So he just asked about, God, don't abandon me. Don't, deny or reject me. That is the first request to God he just made at this point. Second thing is through verse 8 through 9. It seems long and several requests, but it is the one. That is the guide me, please. He requests, the second request was guide me, please. Since verse 1 through 3, we realize who we are. And in verses 4 through 6, we also realize who God is. And then I go just pray God to do two things. Please do not leave. Please do not reject me. And please do not abandon me. Since I'm nothing. Without you, I can't leave. I cannot survive at all. And also the Lord, every single moment, please direct me. And guide me, because I should be lost without your guidance and care and direction. So he just asked about the two things. Do not deny and reject me. and please God. All those Proverbs that give us a specific application we should remember and behave. I want you guys to just remember this kind of thing. So what to do before God. We got to do two things that I'm just going to switch it and then make it like, emphatical, application right here. I want you guys to repeat after me. Be humble. One more time. Be humble. Before God, no matter who you are, no matter what you guys are doing, how much you're going to be successful, we're just nothing. We're nobody. That if we realize who we are, we naturally humble ourselves before God. We had to have humility in our attitude. That's like a Christ Jesus' image. So be humble, guys. Be humble. Be humble. Next thing, just repeat after me. Trust God completely. Second application is, repeat after me. Trust God completely. Through verses 4 through 6, the author shows who God is. And in verses 7 through 9, he also shows without God, he just wants to demonstrate what will happen to us. So he emphasize what we need to do is the first and foremost important thing that we should do is trust God completely. 목사님 didn't live that long lifespan, but while just getting every year and getting older and older, in my inner heart, I feel two things on it. Number one, there are not many things that I can do by myself. I'm just realizing and I'm just getting who I am. And then I don't have any of the confidence at all. If I'm going to try to do something, it was a long time ago. Hey, I'm young, I'm passionate, I'm just do whatever I can do. I have some of the power I do want to do. But at this point, I have 4 kids. I'm getting older and older. And I just figure out the inability in my hands and in my life all the time. So there's so many things, I cannot do by myself. Not many things that I can handle well. And the second thing I feel like in order to relate it to the first feeling, then I should trust God. Still, I'm energy. I have energy. I am a passion and ability. But as the elderly people commonly shows their humility after their lives, we gotta be humble before God and the people. Then our humility makes we should be trusting God and relying on Him more and more, and trusting God completely. That is the most important thing that we have to learn about. Be humble and trust God. Be humble and trust God. Be humble and trust God. That is the key word and a key theme that Proverbs 30 wants to show us and teach us and indicate that what we need to do. Be humble and trust God completely. I want you guys to remember this. That is the wisdom of the life. That is the wisdom of God. Shall we just pray all together?